Last time, we circled the southern side of the West Fjords. Launching from Tálknafjörður, we reached the furthest westerly point of Iceland and Europe on the Eurasian tectonic plate. We slowly conquered the switchbacks on the way to Rauðasandur beach and skimmed a portion of Arnarfjörður. Although the spot we stayed in Tálknafjörður was amazing, there was still so much more to see in the West Fjords. So we marched north to our next accommodations in Ísafjörður, but now without making some stops along the way. Wow. Well, there goes that vertigo again. Bethany's been texting me. Yeah, I better head back.
Joseph.
To be honest, we would have been very happy staying in Tálknafjörður longer. The quiet and beauty of it was amazing. Plus, having the Bíldudalur hot pool nearby, excellent. But for our trip, it was time to gas up and hit the road. But not before another Iceland hot tip. Hot tips for Iceland! Make sure you have a credit card with a chip and PIN code on you at all times, because most gas pumps run independently of the gas station or convenience store they accompany. All the pumps I ran into had options for English. Don't worry about that. Select your language, select the pump, put your card in. This order might not be exactly correct. Put your PIN in. Then, this is the most important part. If you're filling up your gas tank, select the largest kroner amount to pump. But never select the fill up option. Selecting the fill up option will run you the risk of putting a hold on your card for funds and could cause trouble for you down the road. Now, with our tank heavy with gas, but probably not topped off, we return to Route 63 to swing through Bíldudalur. Like the prior day, going through Patreksfjörður, we wanted to get a feel of the town by driving through it. Most of what you'll find here are homes, but at the center of town is a convenience store, a gas pump, and a guest house. And not to mention, the Icelandic Sea Monster Museum and coffee shop. If you are in the mood for a bit of folklore and a bit of fun, check this place out. Since we did not go inside, I'll recommend Kinginet's video where they visit this establishment. After passing through town, we jogged a little bit further down the road to get a view of the Long Cape Lighthouse. On Bethany's first visit, she was lucky to have hosts that lived on the land across the fjord, and she was able to hike to that lighthouse. This time round, this is our best view that we could get of the place, since that hike is on private land and we were not able to do it this time round. Being out there was another moment of feeling dwarfed by nature. We were around the corner from Bíldudalur and couldn't see that. And the end of the fjord that opened up to the ocean was around the other corner. We were in this perfect place of seeing the peaks of mountains covered in snow, the water stretching out in both directions, and all I can say is that this road will be a fun adventure to travel down next time we visit. But for our current visit, it was time to travel back down Route 63 to our next stop and enjoy some time at a hot pot and pool just outside of Bíldudalur. Reykjafjarðarlaug just does it for me. I know I did a bit of gushing over it in the last video, but damn! This is a wonderful spot to warm up at. The main pool is close to the road, but don't worry, that road isn't that busy. The hot pot is a bit further back from the pool, and you can still see the fjord past the main pool. But it's also toasty warm, it's tucked further back, you feel like you're snuggled in by the mountains, and I heard that at times there's sheep around back there, but there weren't any this time. Stepping in was a bit slippery, so take caution if you plan on being barefoot. I'll suggest maybe to wear some water footwear to keep a grip while entering and exiting that hot pot. The bottom is a bit grainy, but it's not much different from sand that you may find in a lake back home. What you will find here, and not back home, is that heat in the water. And the further back you go in the hot pot, the hotter it gets. So don't be dumb. Know when to stop scooting backwards. You'll know. You'll just be like, nah, that's good. And the hot pot isn't terribly deep. But if you want that, you'll hop into the pool. The pool is divided into 2 sections. The first section is slightly warmer and a bit more shallow. If you want to try out the deeper end, you have to transition over the little divider wall, which I wasn't very good at. But then you can be right up on the edge of the pool to look over the fjord from the far side, close to the road. Either side of the pool, you'll have great views and enough room for activities. And remember to leave a donation in the box for upkeep. As our time at the hot pool came to a close, it just started for the locals. And for us, it was back to the road, skimming along Arnarfjörður to connect back up to Route 60 and take that to Dynjandi, the biggest waterfall in the West Fjords. And that waterfall is accompanied by smaller waterfalls that make the hike to the top all the more spectacular. The location has been enhanced with paved walkways, benches, toilets, and picnic areas. The trail to Dynjandi can be steep and narrow. One spot of rock stairs looked a bit sketchy, and Bethany decided not to join me in the hike. Her throbbing toes gave her pause for continuing. You will get amazing views back over the fjord all the way up to the base of Dynjandi. Route 60 also passes over the top of the falls, and there's a small area to pull off the road and park to get some views there. It's very small, so if there's a spot, take it. Otherwise, go see the falls and then come back up and check again later. Staying on brand, I literally could have spent hours here, which ended up putting a bit of pressure on our timetables to arrive in Ísafjörður to meet our hosts and to get to our dinner reservations. After Dynjandi, we drove up the opposite side of the fjord, catching a glimpse of some sheep that have managed to escape Reykjafjarðarlaug, which is a corralling of sheep that happens in September. We didn't snitch on them, and they're probably still on the lam. Not that we would have known who to contact or how to contact them. Further down the road is Hrafnseyri, home to Jan Sigurðsson, first suit in Iceland. But before him was Hrafn Sveinbjarnarson, who is considered to be the first educated doctor in Iceland. The location features a museum in the main building, a recreation of period turf houses with a cafe inside one of them, a church from 1886, an excavation site, and one hell of a view. Sadly, nothing was open during our visit. The road here continues over the mountain and was the original way that we wanted to traverse this part of the West Fjords, but nature wasn't having it, and the mountain pass was closed. Which reminds me, it's time for another Iceland hot tip! If you plan on heading into the West Fjords during the shoulder months, it would be a good idea to keep an eye on the website Road.is to make sure that everything is open before you travel. Instead of a mountain pass, we had to settle for one of the newest tunnels in Iceland. Grab onto your seats, boys and girls. This one is not an easy Icelandic name for me. Dýrafjarðargöng Tunnel. With its incredibly smooth road. Listen to that transition from roads outside the tunnel to inside the tunnel. That smooth road, the dark tunnel, the lights leading us further in, kinda gave an out-of-body experience at first. We just needed a lady to creep up on us and tell us not to go into the light. From here until Ísafjörður, it was ogling time. Ogle the mountains, ogle the fjords, and check out little stops along the way, like this. All over the West Fjords are placards which aid in telling the stories of the Icelandic Sagas which took place near the locations. This one in particular talked of the Gísla Saga. If you have a love of history or old literature, these stops might be of interest to you. Is there a website telling you where to view them? Not that I could find, but who knows, maybe it's out there. There is one last tunnel before Ísafjörður on this trip, and this one is kind of interesting because it starts with a single lane and then has an intersection in the middle. If you've watched any of the Iceland driving videos I've posted, you may remember the letter M sign. These signs signal an area to pull off to the side for passing. When these areas are to your right, it is your responsibility to pull to the side and allow oncoming traffic through. So in this case, if you're traveling from the south, no stress. Drivers from the north will pull aside for you. After the intersection in the middle of the tunnel, the road becomes 2 lanes again, and you won't have to worry about that stuff anymore. And this is where we exit the tunnel and descend into Ísafjörður, the capital of the West Fjords. On the left of the road is a ton of outdoor areas for skiing, hiking, biking, camping, and just sport in general. Staying on the road takes you right down to the water so you can follow the shore into town. We situated ourselves at our lodgings, the old sheriff's house, in the Blue Room. It was our first experience renting out a room and sharing space with hosts as well. The hosts, Laufi and Smári, made the experience easy and relaxed. But there wasn't much time to spend here, as it was about time for dinner at Tjöruhúsið. If you are into seafood, look no further. This is the place you will want to have a meal. Tjöruhúsið is located right by the West Fjord History Museum, close to the end of the curl of land into the fjord. The building is from the late 1700s, and if you are tall, you'll be doing a bit of ducking to get underneath some of the support beams. Things can get tight depending on where you sit and how many people are dining. We had a seat near the kitchen and were able to observe the chef doing his thing. Music is provided by a classic record player and is pretty much perfect for the vibe. So settle in, children, because your mouth is going on a fish-flavored journey. Dinners here are an all-you-can-eat affair of fish goodness. There is no menu. There's only the catch of the day. On our visit, we had multiple styles of cod, wolffish, ling, salmon, and tons of veggies. Your first course is the seafood bisque, and I will warn you, it's delicious. You are going to want to eat more than just an appetizer's worth of this soup, and damn right, it's a gorgeous meal on its own, but hold up, hold on. Do not fill up on this. There's so much more coming. The table at the head of the restaurant will quickly fill up with large iron skillets filled with fish, along with an array of mouth-watering veggies. Yeah, veggies can be mouth-watering. Once they are ready, servers will call up tables one by one and help serve the food. And no worries if you don't know what you're looking at, they will be able to tell you exactly what it is. And if this gentleman is serving you, he will not give you time to think. You will just need to react. I ended up with far more items on my plate than I intended. He is a madman when it comes to dishing up food for others. Be on top of your game if he's serving you. It was all superb. I didn't have enough stomach room to enjoy as much as I wanted. My advice is not to miss out on these small fried discs. For us, it was at the end of the line of food. These are the cod cheeks, and they are out of this world. Our server told us people will travel here just for those cod cheeks. And after having them, I can understand why. It will take quite the restraint to not leave here more full than your suitcase for the plane trip home. Make sure you chill out and digest after this meal. No trying to go hike some mountain, no trying to lift weights, no going swimming. Don't do that. Find a nice comfy couch and lounge. If you are in Ísafjörður, make sure you get reservations. Tjöruhúsið is too popular to walk in and be served most of the time. If you're traveling on a budget, the 7,000 kroner price per person may be a little bit steep for you. But in my opinion, there is nothing not to love about this place. The atmosphere is wonderful, the people are wonderful, and the food is wonderful. After our meal, it was time to retire back to our Airbnb, chat with our hosts, and stare out the window into the well-lit night as we digested our delicious dinner. Next time, we circled the area around Ísafjörður, checking out the small surrounding towns, the Ásvur Maritime Museum, and catch sight of some whales. Come back for more Iceland 2021.